Hello and welcome back to another video about programming Aiphone's AC series access control system. In this episode, we are going to cover configuring doors, inputs, and outputs in AC Nio. We will start with doors. In AC Nio's terminology, a door is any access point that is controlled by an AC series panel. So this could include things like regular doors or gates, any sort of ingress point. On a hardware side, this usually consists of a port on the panel for the door release hardware itself, and a Wiegand port for the panel to connect to a card reader, though there are some minor exceptions that we won't go into here. To get started, navigate to Hardware, Doors on the left side of the screen. If a door was automatically added during the previous step, it can be configured by clicking the cogwheel next to it. In our case it wasn't, so we'll click Add to create a new door. First, we need to choose a door type. This is determined by what type of panel hardware we're configuring. If we are working with an AC2DM or ACS2DRC access control panel, we would select Managed. If we are instead using an ACS-IO input-output board, Monitored is used for doors without a reader that will still report their open or closed state to the system. Unmanaged doors do not report this status, but instead have the ability to be manually opened through Nio. Next, add a name for the door. You can also add a description as needed, though this is optional. Then, use the drop-down to select a panel to assign it to. If the list is blank, double-check that the door type selected above matches the panel it will be registered to. Once a panel is selected, new options will appear. Set which port on the panel you are attaching this door to. Choose a schedule that will be applied to the door. You can also set what kind of holiday schedule is needed as well. If you selected that this was a managed door, provide the reader information below. A name is required, but the description is optional. The port on the panel is also required. Once everything is configured, click Create. And with that, our newly added door is part of the system. To program inputs and outputs, navigate to Hardware, Panels. Click the cogwheel next to the panel to be configured. Click I/O along the top, which will display the inputs and outputs available to the panel. To modify the input or output, click it to display the options to the right. Provide a name. Then, set a function for the input or output by clicking the drop-down menu next to the word function. Before we finish up, there are a few other options here. Supervise is used when registers are added to the input to detect tampering. The inputs and outputs are set to normally open by default, so they can be changed here to normally closed as needed. And finally, checking off no events means that when the input or output is triggered, it will not be recorded as an event in AC Nio. As an aside, if a door contact is selected as an input and no connection is made, the door will always read open and it will not perform an unlock function. This is because effectively the door will think it is already unlocked. Once everything is set for the desired inputs and outputs, click Save. Repeat these steps to add any other doors, inputs, or outputs required. Once everything is configured, click Update Panels at the top of the page to push the settings to the hardware. And we're done. You can follow the same steps to add more doors, inputs, and outputs to your system. Thank you for watching.